Ooh, prepare to have some of your feelings hurt. I can't help it, man. This subject gonna be real deep. No pause. And some of you gonna feel away, and that's fine because there's this place, this magical place that you can go to vocalize your opinions that you don't like about me. It's called the comment section. Today we're gonna talk about metaphor. ReFantazio, or whatever you want to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure some of you are going to be in the comment section correcting me, and that's fine. And the fact that I'm about 30 hours in this game, give or take. And I can tell you, without a doubt, that this is what Final Fantasy 16 should have been. Now, sir, some of you already in that comment section. You ain't even heard my opinions on the matter. You're gonna vocalize this as some form of fanboyism. You're going to say I'm an X-bot. Some of you going to say I'm a pony bot. And you know what? Am I any of these? Absolutely. I'm all of the above. I talk about the stuff that I feel passionate about. And sometimes you guys give me the labels that you feel is, justified to this. And that's fine. What do I mean by Final Fantasy 16 versus Metaphor? Metaphor is on a completely, utter different level than Final Fantasy 16. You know, first though, for the people that's already upset with my statements, I probably have more experience with the Final Fantasy brand than the majority of the people that's going to be commenting on this video. I've played the old Final Fantasies. I've played 15, I've played 12. Never beat Lightning Returns or Final Fantasy 13 2. But I played the majority of Final Fantasy 13. I just did not like the game. Beat the old-fashioned 12. I beat the tactics. I beat the advanced tactics. I think there was another tactics. I can't remember the name. I think it was Advanced 2 or whatever. I have played these Final Fantasy games. I beat Remake, Rebirth. And when I look at something like Metaphor, and I'm looking at this game, I can't help but to feel away. Because to me, I'm sitting here looking at this game, and I'm like, it could have been so much better. Like, this game could have had everything going for it. And for some reason, Final Fantasy 16 dropped the ball on almost all counts when it comes to being a RPG fan. Now, I know some of you are saying Addict. You don't have to, be a turn-based game. Those games don't do well. Atlus has shown that you don't have to abandon what made you you. Atlus has shown that regardless how you feel about the matter and regardless what goes down, you can easily continue to be what is you and evolve that formula. Since Final Fantasy 12, Square Enix has done whatever they want with the brand. And you can look at the Metacritic score, because for the most part, that stuff has done nothing but wind down. Yes, there's the occasional 16. That got like an 87 or something like that. And I'm not saying that 16 is a bad game. 16's a bad Final Fantasy game, not a bad game. I would say if you want to compare it to more of an action-adventure game and strip it of its Final Fantasy merits and the expectations that a Final Fantasy game would have, then you got something on point. But then when you look at something like an Atlus over the years has took their brand and did different things. They went from one thing known as just regular Persona. They did the Shimigami Tensei. That now they're doing Metaphor. They've took their formula and they've built on through it throughout the years, over and over again. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I respect it. I respect it because I wish, as a Final Fantasy head, I wish Square Enix would have done that. But they didn't. They went after this casual audience. This audience that they could potentially or not get. And what I mean by that is you look at, okay, in marketing, well, when you want to sell product in general, you generally want to sell it to as many people as you can get your hands on. And in my personal opinion, Final Fantasy and Square Enix was doing really well. The reviews were good. The sales were good. Now, maybe to these days standards, it's not as high as it once was. And they're like, let's expand. Let's go beyond our fan base and let's try to incorporate as much as we possibly can to get more money. Now, that's not an issue as long as you respect your core audience. But let me tell you, they didn't respect their core audience. They went from action-based, turn-based, just full-blown DM style on 16. And then Atlus shows you that you can easily still do turn-based and be successful. They sold 1 million in a day. Now, I don't know what 16 sold. 16 might have even sold more. But it shows you that this game scored like a 93, 94 on Metacritic. It's selling really well. Atlus came out and said, I'm putting all my money on our fan base. Our fan base got our back. Our fan base, they know what's up. Now, we can sit here and we can determine on whether or not what Atlus does is like kind of justified, because they do kind of like take their existing formula and they rehash that. But I would say Square Enix does to a degree too, even though that a lot of their games are different from the predecessor. Everyone kind of does it. But one thing I respect about Atlus and how they're handling metaphor is they look at something like what's going on right now with metaphor and, the personas. They call them archfiends or archetypes on here. I can't remember the exact terminology, but it's just a persona, but it's done differently. It has a different way that you level it up. Like metaphor and persona are the same and not the same at the same time. And to me, I'm okay with companies that originated it expanding on their style, making it better. I'm cool with that. I don't know how you guys feel about that. At the end of the day, when it comes down to this, Metaphor is a fantastic game. It is. It deserves all the praise and all the success it gets. And I'm not even going to sit here and say that this is like a shit on Final Fantasy 16 type of video, because it's not. It's just me pointing out stuff that Final Fantasy could have went exactly the way it did and still had success. And that's just pretty much all when it comes down to, because if you look at it with like the way Sega in general is doing things, you got Yakuza. Yakuza is like a beat 'em up for decades. Since it came out the womb, it was like that. But then they felt like they were hitting a wall. And then they're like, let's open this up. So what do? They made Infinite Wealth and Like a Dragon. And they said, look, we understand that some of you still want this gameplay and some of you demand this gameplay. So we're going to make them both. Then you look at Dragon Quest, made by another complete studio, but published by Square Enix. And when I played Dragon Quest 10 or 11, I can't remember what the last one was called, which number it was, they gave you the option whether or not you wanted to play in turn-based or real action. Because when I initially started the game, I saw everyone play it as turn-based. But it started out in real-time action. And I was like, what's going on here? False advertising is not that nice. But then I realized that you can actually play this game on both settings. I don't know why they didn't give you the option to play Remake and Rebirth. Now, I will say Remake and Rebirth are a little bit more to the center. It's a little bit more middle ground. When you look at something like the strategic mode where you can stop things, it kind of feels a little bit more turn-based, but it's just like if other companies are doing it being successful, why can't you? Square Enix, get back to your roots, man. You don't have to just go back and go straight turn-based. You can make a good middle ground. I prefer the Dragon Quest route, where you could still give people the turn-based combat and you give people the real-time combat. Now, I understand I'm going to have a bunch of people in my comment section saying, Addict, you're wrong because it's turn-based and you're upset. You damn right. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you every game Square Enix has made in the past that's not turn-based is bad, because that's not the case. I kind of felt 12 was a decent game. I didn't like 13. I felt like 15 was a step in the right direction compared to, I did not like 13 at all. And I Remake and Rebirth, they're good games, even with the combat like it is. I felt like it was a good middle ground. I felt like I had plenty of control how I wanted to play. But 16, you could arguably is one of the worst Final Fantasy games. Now, obviously, if you just want to look at this as like, you know, a Devil May Cry type of game, okay. They didn't even have elemental weaknesses in the game. When the summons in 16 would have made the best sense, that it's like Shiva gets summoned and Ifrit gets summoned and one of them's like, yo, I don't do so good in some ice, my dude. You're going to have someone else help you. There were so many good things they could have did. And I feel like Square Enix has lost their way. I'm going to be honest with you. I understand people are going to deem this as a fanboy video because I do make a lot of Xbox content, and that's fine. That you have the right to make that. I don't have to agree with you. I've been playing Final Fantasy and turn-based games as long as I can remember. You want to call me anything? I'm a fanboy for turn-based, for JRPGs in general. And it just frustrates me that we see the direction that's going with Final Fantasy, and we see the up and down that the franchise is having. When you see a company like Atlus that's doing just as good, if not better, on multiple scenarios, and they stuck to their roots. And I got to respect Sega, and especially Atlus on that. And I'm here to tell you, Atlus is king of turn-based, king of JRPGs in general right now. Probably for the foreseeable future. But what's going on, you guys? I appreciate everyone coming through here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. It's always appreciated. I don't know how many of you made it here, man. This is like a 12-minute video. Trying to do better on the videos, but I get on here and I rant. I can't help it. Cannot help it. Oh, be sure to sub. If you like these type of videos, man, I make them multiple times a week. I stream on a channel called the Addict Arena. Right now, I got some traveling going on for work, so don't expect a whole lot from there. But when I get back, expect a lot of content on there as well. But I appreciate everyone coming through here, man. Definitely follow me on Twitter at LordAddictILP. And you can also follow me on the Addict Arena. All that's in the description below. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, peace. Metaphor's good, guys. Go buy it. Go buy it. It's not on Game Pass. Don't wait for Game Pass. Go buy it. Peace.